Okay, so she's back outside, and there was some stuff I didn't even finish talking about the stuff I was talking about, but man, this is the hardest season. So, I mean, each one has gotten worse. So it's not like I thought she'd go back and be a puppy again. But oh my God, this is fucking breaking my heart. Like, oh my God, to see her, it's like, I mean, my mom is old, but she's not old. And so I don't know, it's hard. It's very hard to just see her, like, deteriorating. Fuck, it's so, and then she still gets so happy and wags her tail. And oh my God, she's just the sweetest thing. God, I love that girl. I'm going to miss her so much. I just pray that she's going to stay with me and she's going to make it to the med beds and stuff. So this is, I'll finish talking more about what I was talking about, but what I just wanted to say, because today I feel so weird, like so weird. Like I have been feeling these weird shifts happening. Like I can feel something shifting. I don't know how to explain it, but so I'm always paying attention. And so there was some big things I saw earlier, a girl talking about the Schumann resonance, and her name's Mama Zuma, if you look on TikTok. And she's real Mother Earth kind of channel. She's always how to connect with water and the earth and stuff like that. She's probably around my age. I don't know. She could be younger. But anyways, I forgot I had was cooking, saw some chicken. She said she doesn't normally do the Schumann resonance. I've got hair in my mouth. I mean, Stella's hair is falling out as bad as when they sprayed us the last time. And right now, all my tree, we've been under fog for so long, but all this moss or some sort of moss stuff is all falling out of my trees. It's not like the greeny moss. It's this white kind of, I don't know, it's hard to explain. If you look at different like mosses or something, I guess that's what it's called. Some kind of moldy, mossy fungi thing. And then in my tree, oh my God, everything looks so dead. Like it's, oh, fuck, man. It's fucked. And it's so crazy because my new rug came and I swear to God, I want to marry it. I love it. I just love this rug. I'm just vacuuming it. And I had to cut it, and I cut it so precise. It was like, oh my God, I love this rug. And it makes me so happy. And then it's like things like that where you feel like, surely, things are going in a certain direction. It's not going to all of a sudden flip the other way, but I don't know, I mean, I know my area is going to be affected. So then it is like, oblivious ignorance for me to sit here and think I'm not going to be infected. But at least I'm going to be happy, I guess, presently by what I have. So, so she was doing the Schumann resonance because she said she wanted to show, because she said she has been following it since 2012, although she doesn't talk about it on her channel. To the degree that she was right now. But she said, I've never seen this before. And she said, this is showing the shift. And the things were all the way at the bottom. I don't know all the stuff. There's people who follow all that. So you can go on and watch. I'm sure there's other ones who are doing it, who are talking about it. Because there's a whole group of people who are really follow all of the earth activity, the seismic, all of that. And so, just like I'm with the sky people, I'm with the fake history people, like I'm a little bit of everything. Like I've said, that's what I think is the problem, is people go too deep into one thing instead of getting the whole thing. But, we need those people who go really deep, because they're the ones that people like me go to watch their stuff, because they've done such a deep dive into things that you learn so much. So, I mean, we need all types. So, no matter what type you are, just know you're needed somewhere. And funny enough, I just saw a girl talking about that. She said, everybody should be authentic and stuff like that. And she said, I see a lot of people out there with the same viewpoints as me. And then I think I shouldn't say anything, but my guides tell me, I should say something, because all perspectives needed. And I think I've been saying that this whole time. It's very, very important. Everyone's perspective is valid, and trying to suffocate someone else's perspective is the wrong way we want our direction to go for society. And that is what people have to realize. Just, you know, they're coming out of this very mind-controlled way. So nobody's thinking straight, not looking at things logically. You know, that's what they got to do throughout this awakening. But anyway, so she was saying that the shift thing has, something's happening. And so then, you know, I went and whatever. And so I just went on there again and looked, and I was looking at a few videos to see, like, you know, is there anything going on? And it was basically the same kind of stuff, like just people, you know, like, I've been doing TikToks forever in my work, and then all of a sudden they just fired me for my subject matter of my TikToks because someone told. And they already knew I was making them, but once they knew the subject matter, they fired him. So it's all this just absurd stuff, like people talking about Joe. Like, they gave him warning. They set a date. Hey, we're going to come and check your place out here up, how about next Tuesday? Does that work for you? Joe's like, hey, yeah, I was going over there right now to clean up. I'll be ready for you. You know, it's like the absurdity behind this place. Where people are like, okay, double standard rules. And then a group of the Chiefs just got arrested, and they're completely in the wrong district. But the funny thing is, of course, because it's the absurdity that's going to be coming out, they're all like these millionaire kids who live in beach houses and mansions and shit, and they're going out there trying to be all thug, you know. So whatever. I mean, our society is just jacked up in the head. They're not living their true self. They don't even know who they are. They're just trying to, you know, follow a trend or something. That's why they keep trends going. And that's why they segment them between generations. It's all part of the creation and the division. But so she said that something was happening. So then when I went on and looked, and I was seeing all these people just basically still with the testimonials and, oh, why this? Why? Oh, I don't understand. You know, all of them are just like completely, like, seriously don't understand. Like, they're not just pretending, like, they're really like, I just don't understand what's happening. A lot of that, whole lot of that. But that is good, because something I saw the other day, it might have been her Schumann thing when she was saying it was the amount of awakened people or something. I think that was what she was saying. Something about that and a shift or something. But this is where it got interesting to me, is because there's another girl who I follow all the time. So when I was on there looking, you know, it's just going through all these different things that people talking about, you know, the bullshit going on in their lives, you know, just like all of us, everybody has. I mean, there's so much drama right now in the world. It's crazy. I mean, it's crazy that any of us can sleep at all with all the energy that is on alert on this planet right now, you know. It's no wonder that we're all not just biting our nails off and pulling our hair out, but because it's intense, man. And so this girl I follow all the time, and she watches a whole bunch of different stuff. Like, she's interesting stuff that she talks about. But so she said she was showing these articles and stuff, and showing the pictures and the articles. I think it was some science, I can't remember which thing is talking about it. But so they are showing that the Earth's core has stopped. It stopped. And weird, because when I was doing something, I saw the picture and I thought, oh, she's going to talk about that red cloud thing, because it looked similar to the red cloud. Only if you've seen the red cloud, you see that weird center other thing inside. This looked like a sun inside of a red like that. And so it was like the core of the Earth, but it stopped spinning, and now it's spinning back. And then last week, that guy who follows all of the pole shift stuff, the measuring, which I don't know all this stuff. This is all stuff, you know, right here. But there's people out there you can go listen to. But that the pole, he said, normally was going a certain direction. All of a sudden it went backwards, and he was like, this is very significant. And he said, this is really weird. And so then she, the one who said, now she was showing the articles about this, the core has stopped moving in one direction and it's going back the other direction now, which is what I have been saying the whole time. And I didn't even know all of this stuff. I only knew energetically that we were going one direction and we were going to swing back. And I knew about the age of Aquarius and stuff like that. I didn't know all about all this pole shifts, and I didn't even know about the fucking flat earth shit, you know, like I still thought we were out in space, like, so anyways, in the article it said that things to expect are increase in seismic activity. There's going to be really bad earthquakes, and right now it is showing on the thing that there's a lot of activity in the Pacific. This is going to be our event, and then in the Indian Ocean. And so there's a lot going on there, which I had just seen over in Indonesia. So it's like by Bali. So Australia, something Australia is doing or something is interfering with something. I don't even know. It's all this corporate bullshit, you know, it's global. And so they have flooded out Indonesia, displaced all of these people. It's all mud flood. There's no pumping out the water. These houses are, like when you look at the houses, it's mud up to the middle of the house. So there's no, all the jobs, everything. Like people are unemployed, homeless. It's a big disaster. Like and this is going to keep going. And so something by the Indian Ocean is going to go down. So that's the kind of thing where it's like, look at the doomsday map and see who's going to be affected. And and then the Pacific, we already know, but it also, because of this core thing, then it is going to increase the seismic activity, which is this whole thing about the California. And you got to remember that this stuff is written. So sometimes when people are trying to project and see like what's going to happen, it's already written. Whether or not they're picking up on the right things or whatever, you can't know for sure. But the whole thing where, you know, there's going to be all this water, because even that scientist who had said back in 2011 or 2012 or whatever, it was going to be these 3 big mega storms, which I think they've ended up having more than that. And then it was going to saturate everything. And then it would be the tectonic plates were going to, with the increase of seismic activity, like all of this stuff is happening because the earth is shifting. The Earth's 100% shifting. I gotta turn this off real quick. I think I'm gonna burn it. Hold on. No, I have no concept of time. Look perfect. So I just flipped it over and turned it off. So it'll be good. Anyways, so the with the whole thing with the pole shift thing, and then they're getting to this going backwards thing, and so things are starting to flip. And then with some of this weird shit like that I have felt energetically, like even today is so weird feeling. Oh my God, I feel so weird today. I don't even, I mean, I've said that so many times, and it is not, you know, just like you don't go back, you just keep going. And so it just keeps being weirder and weirder. Like it is so strange because, you know, like you know, this reality isn't real. And I don't know, it is a lot, you know, all the things. Like to me, there's so much. Like this stuff isn't real. I mean, we're in this big shift. We're being poisoned. We're splitting apart. We're going to light bodies. It's just like, oh, there's so much. I know there's the people who don't know anything because I see them on the thing and they're just like, oh my God, what's happening? What's happening? And, you know, there is some sense of that, but I mean, they have no reference. They have nothing. I mean, some of us have a lot of reference, you know, because we felt it or were guided or whatever the case may be into, you know, trying to understand about what was happening. So we would have some more awareness. But then others that don't, and, you know, like I've said, I don't know if that, I don't know. There's probably a lot of things going on. It's part of their awakening, but it's also part of some people's journey to just leave. You know, that wasn't what they came to experience. So I don't know. And, you know, the mass on the homeless, that's been very widely recognized now. And it's quite clear they're cutting programs to make it even harder for poor. It's quite clear, You know, they're trying to, their calling is to get rid of the dead weight. They don't want any dead weight. They want people who don't give a shit about other people, don't give a shit about their time, are way more driven by gain, material gain, and ego. Like, you know, you're doing great, you know, that kind of thing. And so, you know, they don't, you know, give them a happy hour and, you know, some sweatshop clothes and they're good to go. I don't know. 15-minute city, as long as you have a couple bars in there. And, you know, some dating websites, like some people will just be like, fuck, life is a dream. It's so beautiful. We all have different things that we want out of life, you know. Some of us want freedom and experience, and some people just, you know, it's whatever. So anyways, what was I saying? Get off on my tangent. So anyways, with the it's like the shift is already happened. It's like the water is already turning the other direction. And what's so crazy too is if you can find people sharing the DC footage, and every single thing is closed. You can look online. Every single thing in DC is closed until further notice. Tours, all that shit is closed down, except for one federal it's spy department is open. Because the person who was sharing it was a couple. They found that quite humorous. I was like, I get the joke. Yeah, that's pretty silly. But everything in DC, you know, is closed down. All of that stuff, which Congress was supposed to be closed down for 7 weeks, which was doing whatever to the moratorium with the poor people. Like, it's all the same shit, you know. They want people to be homeless. They want people to be desperate and poor. And then they want to get the people on the street who are weak and, you know, do them in. I mean, even when they did that to all those pilots, and then to sit there and say they only want these certain ones to fly them and stuff, and some of the absurdity, but beyond that, even with this whole rich ass motherfucker meeting, is that that one Weasley motherfucker, I don't know his name. But I can't imagine everybody not knowing his face, the same as George and Klaus. This guy is such a weasel, and he wears the black glasses. He always just talks about, like, we are so worthless, and then we are going to be what is it? It's kind of like they're just going to override. I can't think of the word he was using. You can look it up. I mean, people are sharing his stuff, but the stuff is so absurd. But basically that we're going to be taking over like robots, and that's just the future. And, you know, everything he says is so inhumane. Like, it's, man, some of these people, God, I swear to God, justice would be for us to get to come up with some experiments that we're curious about. Like, what would happen if we did this? Like, they should get a little bit of their own stuff, as far as I'm concerned. Like, but whatever, I'm not the one in charge. So, but it seems like it's shifting back, and all of that stuff with them and all of the politics and stuff is just becoming so absurd. And all of DC closed down, and then there was some sort of street tour group going around, and this guy was getting video, and then I've seen a bunch of video of this, of different people though, but it's the Capitol, and they've got this huge thing out in front of it, and some people were saying it looked like a jail. With this lighting that this was showing on this tour, it looked like they have a giant, like, about, I don't know, 10 scaffolding high. Like, it looks like scaffolding on top of scaffolding on top of scaffolding. So it could give the appearance of prison cells. And then it's like a white sheet, almost like a giant screen that is making it where you can't see what's behind it. And then you can see all this construction and lighting and stuff like that. So it is very curious what they're doing at the Capitol, but all that was going on at the White House and stuff too. And so there was something else about the White House too. I can't remember. But anyways, I don't know. There's going to be some sort of unveiling or something. And, you know, I would think, man, some of this stuff is very interesting. It's intriguing to see what is to come. But so DC is completely transforming, and Nancy, getting an exorcism. Jesus Christ. You'd have to leave your own house. Like, what are you talking about? You're coming in, like, I don't understand what you're talking about. But, I mean, hold on. Hey, come on, hurry. Like, to me, that was so freaking absurd. Oh my God. But there was something else that came to my mind too when I was talking about that Congress thing, because it was there's a lot of just crazy stuff, absurd stuff, to where I think it's if you're paying attention, to me it's exciting. But, there's a lot of people who aren't paying attention, and it's going to be shocking when they see it, like some of this stuff. Like, how did this happen? How did that happen? Like, some of this stuff is going to be funny. But, to me, it is like if that stuff shifted to go the other direction. Okay, so if the stuff is shifted, like I didn't know anything about this core of the earth thing. And then that there was something that people were measuring on the poles and how much they were moving and how they even, like, I don't even know. But is it flat? I don't even know. Like, some of the stuff is so weird. So if now it was going to go the other direction. So energetically, things are going to start going the other direction. I mean, there's going to be more and more disclosure, of course. Like, I think there's going to be some dramatic moments. Like, there's going to continue to be drama and dramatic moments and, traumatic things. Like, there's riots and shit going on in some places because the Tifas are getting taken out. Like, they're getting arrested and stuff like that. But to me, that would all be kind of a setup too, to, draw them in, to, get them and put them in a place and stuff. So, there's just so much going on the whole thing, because you have all these changes on the earth. You have all of the truth, all of the lies, all of the people's personal stuff, everything transforming. And so, and right now it just feels like that. It feels like we're in a tornado. Like, it just feels like this just whipping now with this energy. And that is going to make everything pick up speed in your own lives and stuff. And, which I have seen more people now get something, and then all of a sudden there's two of them. It's really, really, it's so strange. Makes you kind of want to go buy something and see, like, if you're going to go buy something, make sure it's something you really, really like, because you may end up with two. So, anyways, she's going to keep crying now. Just a sec. Okay. So if this thing that's whatever, because the earth shifting part is going to start the earthquakes going. So the earthquakes start going and are going to be affecting all of the West Coast. I mean, we've seen even the girl with the prophetic dream. I mean, she's out there watching this stuff all the time, constantly doing videos on it. And the split is supposed to go pretty far, which would make sense for how much they're showing of the West Coast is going to be underwater. Who knows if that's all going to go real quick at once, but that would be real devastating to our country and a huge amount of loss, because a lot of those people are not evacuating at all. Even when the ground starts rumbling, they're so used to earthquakes, they're not going to. And at this point, it is very much like, where are you going to go? I mean, a lot of them, they're there for that. I mean, there has to be people who are going to pass in these things, And so the people who are in certain places are there for certain reasons. And so, to me, if this is starting, like what they're saying, then we'll start having something's going to go down over here. They've already got activity. They've already shown activity. As soon as it did it, there was activity in the Indian Ocean and the Pacific. And so and they're supposed to start being these boomerang kind of storm things too. It goes here and then boom. I mean, they've already been doing that because they are also manipulating all of this stuff. Like, I mean, it becomes absurd. Like, what are you trying to cover up in the sky? My sky today, I did a bunch of videos. I had to run in. I went to go to school and stuff and wanted to run to the store. And so I got some sky videos. They were so ridiculous. It's mental. So fucking mental what is out there. And so if I mean, shit is just going to keep going down. I mean, there's way more going with the banks. There's way more. I mean, they're going to take Joe out. However long they drag this out, that is part of the absurdity that's going to be embarrassing for some people. Because there's like, I mean, there's going to be a huge group of us that are like, it should have been done, you know, a few years ago. It should have never even gotten, I mean, was hidden. The laptop was hidden in 2018, 2019 or something like that. So I don't even know, but I mean, it was already, had been investigated and hidden so that he could be placed, which, you know, why even do any of that stuff and you're just placing him anyways? I mean, that's why I think part of it is why they're just putting so much shit right in our face right now, because it's like they can do whatever the fuck they want, and it's becoming so clear to people. People are becoming so like, it reminds me so much of back when some of these people were getting caught, like we couldn't go anywhere without these, and any of us who even tried, we'd be attacked and kicked out of places and all sorts of stuff. And but then you'd have these Newsom and all them going out to dinner parties and all them sitting around and, you know, not having to follow the same rules as us. And the outrage people were feeling then, it's like the same kind of thing where people are like, the rules for them are so different than the rules for us. And it's so much worse than people even know. Like, man, when people really start seeing some of this stuff, like, they are going to be so devastated. Like, man, there's going to be some people who are going to have, I know I keep saying it, but are going to have a really hard time with awakening through some of this stuff. And so if the earthquakes start and then it starts being this huge amount of loss, they'll start the shifting and stuff. But there still has got to be this giant solar flash thing, you know. And I mean, there's going to be something that's going to be dramatic, that is going to, like, I thought that this would be a lot more dramatic to go the other direction. But the woman watching this human resonance was saying there's enough people now to turn something with that. And then this whole other lady talking about this whole other thing, just, you know, whatever, a few videos past that. And so to me, it all kind of goes together. But the earth is going to keep doing these things to displace the water. And I would think the doomsday map, or the naval projected map, was from like Looking Glass or something. Like, they didn't just put that out like, oh, well, maybe this will happen. No, they know what's going to happen. And they're, you know, that's why they were out buying certain land and stuff, because it's for sure. And so we're in the process, I think, now of the West Coast being affected. And who knows how long it will drag out. I would think, I still feel like there's going to be some shit that is going to go down before March. Like, I think February, the rest of January is just going to be a whole lot of stuff, a whole lot of drama, a whole lot of shit. So I think just, you know, we have to, you got to buckle up. Like, because, I mean, there are going to be some good things. I guess there's a whole lot of stuff shifting on the money thing. Because I was just talking to this one girl, and I was saying, you know, every time I'm going to go to the cash machine, I'm thinking there's not going to be any. And she said, you know, because she wasn't seeing any of this stuff. But see, you point out this stuff enough, and you don't have to convince anybody. You just ask, and then pretty soon their mind is asking. And so then she started noticing that 3 different stores put in all these new registers for cash checkout, and now they just took them all out, redid all the registers again, and put them in for every single one is card only, no more cash. And so she was like, I thought that was really weird. I said, I'm telling you, this is going down. Like, this is going down. And then when it goes down, people are not going to realize that this digital currency they're going to try and force on us is not going to be the same. The one that we want is the quantum one. Anything that they start calling quantum, that's when you have the 2 things, it's the quantum. And it's all about this. I've seen more stuff now. It's about the magnetism. Now it's all about MAGA. And I mean, there were so many words that he used that were very specific to this time, to this era changing over. And so the magnetism is, and I saw more stuff after I had said that about the electricity, and the whole, there is a whole problem with how they did electricity, they create all of this stuff, and how they aren't using the energy right. They're everything they do is just manipulative and toxic. And I don't even remember the whole thing of how it was explained. I saw it a couple weeks ago, because it always happens. Like, I talk about something, and then sometime that day they'll bring me some movie, they'll bring me some information, they'll bring me something to show me more about it. And so it's like my mind's already open to it, and so then I'll see it, but I don't, can't remember stuff well enough to, I can't even remember I have chicken on the stove. Like, much less go back in and repeat things. I say the wrong words. I can just tell you, like, things that are out there that I'm seeing to give you opportunities to go and look and see, like, if you're interested in it. And my perspective on what is going on. And there is going to continue to be, drama and a lot of storm, or a lot of earth changes. And so natural disasters, I think the unnatural disasters are going to lessen, but I think they already set some things in motion. Like, they're definitely been doing this cold, hot thing. And, I don't know, where in the atmosphere things are going to start colliding and creating other storms and stuff. And then they have all these chemicals. So some of that stuff is going to have to change. And I don't know, because there's still going to be this solar flash thing or something. There's still going to be something huge. And I don't know if that is just going to be, if it really, the West Coast really suddenly goes underwater, that could be, like, especially if it is some sort of ricochet storm situation, and we're just start having everything collapsing under our feet, that would be, it's really hard to know how this is all going to play out, but it's definitely playing out. But it keeps playing, because I keep thinking, like, I thought 2020, like, I thought there was going to be a big drama and everything would turn and go the other direction. And I didn't know we're going to have to just keep playing this out and playing this out and playing this out. Like, and people who, like, I don't even know what Juan says at this point. And I haven't seen anything about what David Rodriguez says. I haven't seen anything about Mel, Charlie, any of the people I was listening to back then, where there was a huge amount of people. We thought things were going to happen way sooner. And so, like, I don't know everybody else's perspective through this, but to me, I see everything and it makes sense. It's still tedious and hard to get through. And I do know everything is about our soul and our spiritual lessons, and anything that is challenging is hardest for us to experience and learn from and grow from. So, I keep trying to wheel it back to that for myself on any of the things that are hard and tedious, and, trying to see. But at some point, when you've been fucking Groundhog Day in this shit for goddamn, it's like, what else? Like, what else? Like, oh my God. Like, it's like, what else could I possibly need to see from this? I don't understand what more I could need to see. What am I missing here? Like, So, anyways, to me, there's going to be some super dramatic things that are going to be happening throughout this. I mean, the Joe thing, that'll be super dramatic. There's going to be, I think there's going to be dramatic things on every single field. And it's funny now, so much is coming out about the sports. We're all, all fake from the start, which anything that had to do with money was all fake. People who have that kind of money, who own these teams and shit, they are, they're talking big money. They're not talking like how us. So of course it's all fake and phony and corrupt and shit. And it's just so weird when people are like surprised by that. It's like, I'm surprised you thought it was legit. Like, man, it's so weird how there's so many things that people, really believe in and stuff. And it's like, I mean, Kardashians still have people who, it's like, oh my God, fashion. Like, anybody who is following high fashion at this point, like, if you can't see, like, that was the biggest fucking slime bag circle fucking monkey fuck, get us all like chasing, oh, get this style, get that style, oh, the jeans go low, they go high, they go big, they go low, and it's like, oh, fuck off, and then they got these fucking slaves over there to sewing, and over there with their fucking petroleum just mass producing this plastic clothes to put us in. It's like, oh my Lord, in this place. And I mean, the stuff with the state, like, I keep seeing stuff come out with that, but, I'm getting a full view, look at the 365, because I've seen, you can't just take a kid and make them that confused over who they are. Let them figure it out. Tell them, yeah, you went through some shit, like, how do you feel about it? What do you think? What do you want from, it's about them. But, they get all these people, they get them strung out on drugs, and then they start telling them, you need to be this way, you need to do that, you need to do this. And just, I think the person becomes so lost in themselves, and they put up such a hard exterior, a hard barrier to protect themselves. And it's fucking heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking what this system is just, it's been so toxic, and there's so many children suffering. I don't even know what happened with that 16-year-old boy. He was, he had been staying in this barricaded room for like a week. He was so scared they were going to come and take him, and he was going to videotape it and stuff. He did not want to come, and they told him, the cops are going to come and take you and remove you from this place, I guess a relative's home, his mom's home or something, and make him go back to his abusive dad's house, even if he doesn't want to be there. Like, legit, I think when you're like 12 or 14, the courts are supposed to respect where you say you want to live. Like, it's just the absurdity of this constant stepping over human rights. And that, that's why all of this stuff with the Constitution and stuff, because about rights, but it also comes from within of what people are willing to accept. Because a lot of people are willing to accept their rights to be stomped all over. They don't give a shit. And how dare any of us want to stand up for our rights? So, it's just a big, like a deception, yeah, but a big change in lifestyle. It's like your choices of what kind of lifestyle you want. And as a soul, I can see, like there's a point of coming in and living in this really shallow existence, and to experience that for universal knowledge. So, there's no shame in anybody's life experience or reality or whatever. Everybody's is valid, and everybody's is important. But anyways, as we are changing in society and we're adapting and we're growing and we're becoming better, we do have to have people heal. Like, no doubt about it. Like, we have to change the way everything has to change. And that is why everything is breaking apart and falling apart. It's because everything has to change. And our values, our priorities. People have to remember who and what they are. They have to develop a moral, ethical backbone, and so there's a lot of growth that has to happen through this experience, this transformation of humanity. But, we will get there because it's like the same thing. It's written, just like, these storms are written, the country, the whole planet, the whole reality is going to shift. It's going to change into a new experience. And, some people are just here to ride that wave for this experience because of that never being done before. And so supposedly, of every reset, there's not been a group that have had to go through it, which again, that is still this thing that's going to happen, the solar flash, which to me, if the Schumann resonance is showing this intensity that has not shown, this one hasn't seen since she started looking in 2012. Did you hear that loud explosion? It keeps being explosions. It's so weird. And if you can even tell the weird color outside, everything is so fucking weird. Man, it's weird. There's been so many explosions. Even the girl who is staying here, she said she keeps hearing breathing in her room. She said, I keep hearing all these weird things. I said, that's weird, man. That's weird around here. Like, I don't even know. Like, the whole world, like, people are seeing and noticing so many things, so many supernatural things, so many weird things. Like, it's all coming to the surface. And so anyways, but there is, some of us are here to go through into the next part. And I don't even remember, there was something I cut myself off of, but I don't think it was that. But supposedly, anyways, that it hasn't been done before, where to go through this shift. Oh yeah, because there still has to be this, because it's written in other, even older prophecy, with this solar flash, and we've got all of these solar class flares, M class, X class, L class, I don't even know all these classes, and all these coming from the sun, which is making these black holes in the sun, which is the whole thing about the black sun. And there's been so much written about this solar flash. That is what freaked me out when I started hearing about this stuff, like in 2015. And that's where my family all think I was crazy, because I started telling them all like about this flash. And I'm sure I must have said that the aliens are going to come down and take people or something. And I just don't understand how they don't believe in it. Like, it's so weird. But anyways, this solar flash has always been a thing. It's in the I don't even know. David Wilcock talked about it. Siddhartha or something prophecy. Like, it's in a lot of different things. And so if it keeps emitting this, and if it's based like that Cliff guy said, that is something with our energy, which to me, that is what I think is something with our energy. So all this shift is going to keep happening. The planet, people's lives, the truth is going to keep coming out. It's just going to be a bitch slapping some people right and left, just go, 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 go. And all that energy that keeps going, that is what I think is going to go out and cause the solar flash. In the solar flash, so the pole shift in the solar flash must be separate things or something. But the solar flash, that is going to be that's when supposedly people are being taken away on the ship. That's the part of the reset that is the big major thing. Like, you have to have a high enough vibration, and you can't, like, only people who are healed and high vibration would be able to stay on the planet. Everybody else will have to leave. And then in this solar flash thing, like, you can look it up, like, there's tons of stuff about it. And everybody keeps talking about, like, these other things, these pole shifts and stuff like that, but the solar flash, to me, that is the thing that got me from the beginning. And then it's just kind of where people aren't even taking much notice. But, I don't know. To me, it's just going to, no matter where you are, to me, the map tells you kind of if you're going to be safe, but that doesn't mean you're not going to have tornadoes and hurricanes and thunderstorms and trees falling on people and all that stuff. Like, all of that stuff will keep going. And it would be after the solar flash, that's when I think everything would go to tropical, and that's when the rebuilding, the really going into age of Aquarius, I think, how it would go. So, I don't know. The water thing is going to keep rising. Like, there's going to be, like, if a earthquake happens out there in the Pacific, or a tsunami, who knows what they got going. If the plates are shifting and then it causes it to drop, I mean, it could just drop, like, ugh, I don't know. But any of that stuff is going to change the water on the thing. And so all of these things are going to just start bouncing around and happening. So that could have nothing to do with the solar flash. But anyways, you can look this stuff up and make your own decisions about it. But it was back 2015 or whatever is when I started hearing about the solar flash, and I just became obsessed. And that is what has always got me. And Allison Coe's talked about, like, there's a lot of QHHT people who have talked about it. David Wilcox talked about it. Corey Goods talked about it. I think it's in the Sumerian tablets. It's in the Book of One. Like, it's all over the place about this solar flash thing. And then we can see the sun is reacting to everything that is going on. It is all happening together. So, it's not like we're going to go into completely just bliss until a lot of more things have completed. And it's going to be hard. All of this stuff is going to be hard to go through, and it is going to be still, like, localized traumas happening all over the place. So, it's still going to be a thing that, that we have to get through. But there should be, when this stuff starts turning the other direction, it should start being where things will start falling into place for people. We'll see. I mean, this is a big one to me that I've been waiting on. So if it is that it's going to start turning, then I should start seeing things change. Like, I should start seeing censorship lift. I should start, seeing, I've been putting the energy out, so I should start seeing it come back to me. So anyways, we'll see. But those are the kinds of things that I'll be watching. So each person has their own stuff, and to me, this is still just like a buckle up and just ride the course. Like, you'd think that a lot of stuff would have been fixed before that, but a lot of stuff is like, all of this disclosure is going to lead to so much trauma. It's just going to kind of start it all over again, with the chaos and the trauma and stuff. So it's going to be, because there's going to be so many people, and even people who are awake who don't have any idea what's going on. There's so many. So this is interesting. This is quite interesting, and it's a very strange perspective that I'm experiencing, I'll tell you that. So anyways, now I feel like I did get to talk about some of the stuff. that I did want to talk about. I mean, there's a lot of stuff I want to say about some things, but you know, I just know that, you know, we got to do better. We just got to do better as people. We got to care more. We got to be more giving and loving to one another. You know, this dog eat dog world, this, you know, I'm better than you mentality, and every man for himself, dog eat dog world. You know, we've got to change it into, you know, more compassion, more of not somebody is disposable, but if we need to take you under our wing, you know what I mean? And, you know, I don't know. There's a lot, and there's a lot left to see. I mean, I know a lot of people in some really rough positions right now, and it's like, you know, a lot of stuff is wait and see, you know, what's going to happen. To me, I mean, there will be good things with the money thing. Like, I won't have any hang-ups about that. Like, I'll be all full on with the money thing. Like, as soon as, like, I'm all still so excited for it to be collapsing. And so I'm, you know, I'm excited to get to that next part. And then the same with the medical, with the med beds. Those are the whole time, my two things. The money situation and the med beds. And once I have those, I'm going to feel like I'm in heaven now. I ascended. I'm out of hell now. I'm in heaven. I'm in heaven. So anyways, you know, I just stay the course and stay strong, you know, and the whole thing is about being resilient, or, you know, the resilience it takes to get through this. So on days when you need to take time to yourself and just take a break from things, don't be hard on yourself. Don't feel like you're failing or doing anything wrong. Like, people think because you start healing that you cease to have emotions or something. No. And you need to not judge your emotions. You need to validate them. I mean, you wouldn't have them if you weren't supposed to learn from them. And so don't judge them. You need to validate them, experience them. And our whole thing, our challenge is to master them. But mastering them isn't suffocating them. Mastering isn't stuffing them in the closet that you just cleaned out of demons and skeletons. Mastering them is experiencing them, but also to recognize that you have control, that you can choose how you look at things. You can choose what you see. You can choose how your attitude towards things. And so it's all in this process of growth and development as a conscious being. So anyways, I will talk to you later. Bye.